And a very happy Thursday to you at 12:06 in the West. It's the John Phillips Show. Mr. Randy Wang's in Culver City.
John, after that damning report from the LA Times that showed that Karen Bass directed the watering down of the Palisades fire after action report, Rick Caruso is now reconsidering not running for LA mayor.
Quite frankly.
So he's the Ross Perot of California, huh?
He has until the end of the week to decide if he's going to actually run. But he says that report and Karen Bass's cover-up is motivating him to rethink his choices.
They need to figure out how to push him along to make a decision. I don't know what you do. Maybe you change his ringtone to the Jeopardy music. But make a decision already.
He likes the tease.
Yeah, what's the deal with that?
Remember how in the summer he's like, oh, I'll let everyone know after the summer. And then it was January when he finally said, nah, I'm not running for anything.
Okay, here's what I don't understand about this LA Times bombshell report that Karen Bass directed fire officials to doctor up the after-action report on the fires. Who on planet Earth didn't know this already? Come on.
Spencer Pratt's been talking about this for months, going back to all the way to November.
Well, it's like after the 2024 election and the Jake Tapper book comes out and the book Fight comes out and all the postmortems come out on the election and they tease it as if they have this bombshell secret that no one knew about. Psst, guess what? Joe Biden was senile. Who didn't know that?
Maybe it's that this story was being put in the LA Times. Maybe that's what has put this thing over the point where now everyone's paying attention and reacting to it because the LA Times is not covering for Karen Bass the way you think they would.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Because anyone who listens to this show knew that Joe Biden was senile in 2024. And anyone who listens to this show knows that Karen Bass doctors up the books on virtually everything. And it's not just the fire, by the way. Her numbers on the homeless count are totally phony, too. The numbers on crime, phony. I wouldn't believe anything that they say about the copper wire and the streetlights going out. Everything that they present is through rose-colored glasses. And that way, in their own ecosystem, the LA Times, Public Radio, KNX, the usual places, Spectrum, if you challenge their numbers on the homeless count, if you challenge their numbers on retail theft, if you challenge their narrative on the fires, they say you're spreading misinformation, they say you're a conspiracy theorist, and they try to cancel you. And I don't know what happened over at the LA Times where they finally decided to print the truth, but welcome to reality, Times.
And Karen Bass is pissed, calling their reporting irresponsible.
Oh, my.
She only talked to two outlets yesterday. She called into KNX to complain, and then she got an interview with Tom Waite of CBS LA. But everyone else just got a lengthy worded statement about how awful the reporting is at the LA Times.
I love it.
For more, let's hear what Karen Bass had to say to CBS LA. And damn it, that rhymed. Karen Bass, you're ruining me.
If you're feeling down, if you're feeling blue, let's get help for you.
Good evening. I'm Rudabeh Shabazi. Pat Harvey is off tonight. Tonight, LA Mayor Karen Bass is blasting the LA Times after it published a bombshell report claiming the mayor tried to cover up the investigation into the Palisades fire.
Successfully tried to cover it up.
And I love the fact that no one cared when they called Larry Elder the black face of white supremacy. But this, printing the truth about the fires, that's one bridge too far.
CBS LA political reporter Tom Waite is live in Century City, where he spoke to the mayor. Tom.
And good evening to you, Rudabeh. That's right. The mayor says these accusations.
Wait. Isn't Tom Waite the reporter who did the truth about the fire and then did another report, a subsequent one on Spencer Pratt at that They Let Us Burn rally, and alleged that Spencer Pratt was spreading misinformation?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
And good evening to you, Rudabeh. That's right. The mayor says these accusations in the LA Times are absolutely bogus, and she points to the fact that
It's interesting that he's the one that gets the exclusive, isn't it?
You have to play ball if you want access. There's a reason she's not talking to Matthew Seedorf at Fox 11.
And she points to the fact that she fired the fire chief in charge at the time of the Palisades fire as evidence.
Well, that was a scapegoat thing because you were pissed that she said the truth about the budget.
Oh, yeah. That's the old Hasbro game. You remember that? You used to play that as a kid, buy it at Target, the board game. It's called Blame the Lesbian.
Well, and I think you remember when Kristen Crowley, the fired fire chief, tried to appeal to get her job back to the LA City Council. She specifically said that one of the reason that Karen Bass fired her was because Karen Bass wanted her to fall on her sword in an after-action report that would blame her for everything.
Yes, and then Karen Bass would say, "Oh my God, I had no clue the fire chief was this bad. Lady, get out of town."
LA Mayor Karen Bass tonight speaking with CBS LA, denying a report in the LA Times, citing unnamed sources that she watered down the Palisades fire after action report in order to protect the city from legal liabilities.
Which the city is very liable for a lot of this. In fact, now you have a whole lot of people looking at not just lawyering up and suing over the insurance, but lawyering up and suing the city for its incompetence.
And here's what's funny. Karen Bass had enough water to water down the report, but not enough water for the fire hydrants.
I stick with the facts. It's frustrating.
Do you?
Oh, come on. How dumb do you think we are, lady?
I stick with the facts. It's frustrating when people deliberately put out misinformation.
She's now accusing the LA Times of misinformation.
Because they broke ranks. They're supposed to be on Team Bass, and they're supposed to just go along with the lie that we all know isn't true, but a lie that gets repeated in those circles over and over and over again. I really want to know what happened at that paper. I want to know if Dr. What's the last name?
Patrick Soon-Shiong.
That's right. I wonder if he was intimately involved in this reporting, because you know that he breaks ranks from his own paper, but the paper, the troops, the people who do the writing and the reporting, and they write the columns and they do the editorials, they're not on the same page as him. And I don't know if it's what's going on right now with the Washington Post, where a lot of people got laid off over there and they're worried about the future of the newspaper business, and suddenly they now want to keep the boss happy. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. But this is very out of character for that newspaper.
When people...
I welcome it.
Me too.
Not enough to actually, subscribe, but I welcome it. I don't read. I listen. That's how I get my news.
When people deliberately put out misinformation, such as what was in the article.
The LA Times first reported in December the after-action report was altered. Mayor Bass has denied any involvement in modifying it.
But we do know that the LAPD new chief, Jaime Moore, has said, yes, it was altered, but doesn't know who altered it or why, if anyone, should be held responsible at the fire department for that.
Didn't he also say at one point that he's not interested in finding out who did alter it?
Yes.
In its new reporting, the LA Times...
I mean, he wants to keep this job he just got.
Oh, yeah. I wonder if it comes with a membership to the California Club.
In its new reporting, the LA Times says the most significant changes to the after-action report centered on the LAFD's failure to have the right staff in place and its botched pre-deployment of engines.
I just think it's important to know that I asked for the after-action report. I fired the fire chief.
Why are we sounding like it's an obscene phone call?
I fired the fire chief.
She doesn't come off great when she's rattled, and she hasn't been rattled in a while. She's rattled once again.
And she has a very thin skin.
I had no interest.
Have you met a politician that doesn't?
Well, some have thinner skin than others, and Mother Goose has very thin skin.
I had no interest in watering down a report that would explain and justify why I took the action I did.
In its bombshell report,
She's doing angry whisper voice.
Well, usually what the politicians do when they try to make you think that they mean business is they swear. With her, she gets all whispery like she's Richard Dawson that's speaking into the cleavage of some big-breasted contestant.
In its bombshell report, the LA Times cites anonymous sources who received information from two people close to Mayor Bass. The two sources relayed that information to the Times.
I was disappointed in the LA Times that they would report a story where it's a source of a source of a source. I mean, what is that?
People are now calling on her to drop out of the race.
She should. She should have. She should have never announced a re-election after what happened with those fires.
She's feeling the heat that she didn't feel when she was in Ghana because she was on a different continent.
To me, what's important is the facts.
The new report in the LA Times comes as Bass ramps up her re-election campaign. Her opponents, including
holding a completely unnecessary State of the City address this week, which did not include the budget presentation, which is the whole point. It was just a big dog move to scare Lindsay Horvath from running.
Well, and she also had to be tipped off that this article was coming. Because if you're a reporter working on an article, you have to make phone calls and you have to start asking questions. Well, one of the people that you ask questions to is going to be connected with the mayor. Some of them are going to be on better terms with her than others. And if someone is on good terms with the mayor and they know that this hit piece is coming, someone's going to tell her. So she clearly had insider knowledge that this was coming.
Oh, no, it's actually worse than that, because the reporter from the LA Times went on CBS LA this morning and said, we reached out to her office with comment before we printed the story. So they got the story before it went public, and they chose not to say anything.
Because why bother?
Her opponents, including former LAUSD school superintendent Austin Butner.
Oh, this is from last night. Butner's dropped out.
Yeah, well, that wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't going anywhere, and he had a weird death in the family. He is not running for mayor anymore.
And former reality TV star Spencer Pratt.
He is running for mayor. He had his kickoff party last night, and apparently the margaritas were a-flowing.
He's our guy.
Blame Bass for not doing enough to prevent the Palisades fire and accuse her of mismanaging the recovery. Whether this new reporting from the LA Times will impact the election remains to be seen.
The LA Times is relying on sources without naming them, anonymous sources. That always...
Probably because they are afraid of getting retaliated against.
I love the fact that suddenly everyone cares about standards and practices at the LA Times. Where were they when they were calling Larry Elder the black face of white supremacy?
That always raises an eyebrow. It should raise an eyebrow from readers about who is actually behind the story and what, even potentially what their motivation is.
Well, the motivation would be that Karen Bass is trying to cover up how much of a disaster this city was when it comes to that fire.
And I want to point out for the record that the on-the-line firefighters, I'm not talking about the political people, I'm talking about the people who are out there fighting this fire, have been telling the truth since day one. The reason that we know what happened is because of the on-the-line firefighters. The political leadership at the city, the political leadership at the fire department, the LA Times failed to ask the questions until now. They were all interested in making sure that none of us knew the truth. But kudos to the on-the-line firefighters in the LAFD for being the ones that blew the whistle.
That being said, if the allegations are accurate, it really continues to paint a dark cloud over the Bass administration.
Bass's path to re-election got a big boost a couple of weeks ago when billionaire developer Rick Caruso announced he would not be running.
There's not a...
Yeah, but there's an update on that.
Oh, yeah. He's kicking tires again.
There's not a challenger in this race at this point who looks like they would actually be able to mount a meaningful challenge against her.
Week's not over. Lindsay's also thinking about running. She even put out her own Twitter account, Lindsay for LA.
Quite
The
frankly,
blood is in the water.
Tonight on KNX News Radio, Rick Caruso went on and said he might reconsider entering the race, but would give no hard indication of whether he will do so.
So there you go. That's what we know so far. Rick Caruso did talk to Matthew Seedorf. We will play you that sound a little later. And Spencer Pratt had a lot to say about this report from the LA Times because it's something he was sounding the alarm about for months.
If you'd like to email the show, you can do so at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. And Randy, coming up tomorrow, we're going to be in Long Beach.
It's tomorrow, people. We're going to Gladstone's in Long Beach, and you can join us. We're heading to Gladstone's in Long Beach for our next live broadcast, and you are invited. Come enjoy the great food, good vibes, and a fun afternoon by the water. We'll have special guests like our friend Susan Shelley from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayer Association. She'll tell you more about your taxpayer rights protecting Prop 13. The courts have made it easier to raise your taxes. You want to know why ULA passed, why Measure A passed? Well, it's because of citizens' initiatives that don't need that two-thirds majority thanks to the courts. That's why we need you to come by and sign the petition to save Prop 13. The deadline is coming fast. She needs all those signatures by February 17th. Have you signed it yet? SaveProp13.com. That's SaveProp13.com. Come hang out with us, grab a bite, and be part of the broadcast. It's the John Phillips Show live at Gladstone's in Long Beach tomorrow from noon to 3.
In the meantime, what do you say we make a couple of listeners very happy?
Let's do that right now. 790 KABC welcomes Stained at the Toyota Arena on October 10th. Tickets are on sale Friday at Ticketmaster.com. But right now, call the number 9 at 1-888-790-5222. Get a pair of tickets to the show. Tickets furnished by Live Nation. Good luck dialing.
Coming up next, we're going to have more on the emerging scandal at LA City Hall involving embattled Mayor Karen Bass as she seeks another 4 years in office. We're going to find out what her opponents and her prospective opponents are saying right now. 800-222-5222 is the telephone number, 1-800-222-5222. Well, we know that L.A. Mayor Karen Bass is under fire for allegedly doctoring up the after-action report on the fires that burned down the Pacific Palisades. One of her opponents in the race, fire victim himself, Spencer Pratt, is now reacting to this report in the L.A. Times.
He had his campaign launch party last night, and after he gave his speech, he was asked a whole bunch of questions, including about that report from the LA Times, and let's just say Pratt was not surprised.
We're celebrating my kickoff for mayor of LA. Anybody that doesn't know, they obviously don't live in LA, because if you live in LA, you know exactly why I'm running for mayor, because the city is a disaster.
True.
Fact check, true.
And 4 more years of Karen Basura.
I do like that name.
Okay, what does that mean? People were emailing us last night asking what that means, and I don't know.
Johnny, basura is Spanish for trash.
Ah, I see.
See, that Duolingo's paying off.
Mayor, because the city is a disaster. And 4 more years of Karen Basura.
Karen Trash.
Okay, I'll go with that.
And 4 more years of Karen Basura is a nightmare nobody wants. So I was.
You know what I'd call her?
What's that?
Karen Tilapia, because isn't that a bottom feeder?
I was forced into this position because we have no other option.
And you saw the LA Times article that came out today, right?
I did.
After action report, any reaction to that?
Yeah, I did see the LA Times report. I actually did a video in early November because I had multiple firefighter whistleblowers reach out to me to tell.
Yeah, the guys on the ground have been reaching out to Spencer Pratt for quite some time because there's probably nobody more irritated with the failures of management and the city than the on-the-line firefighters who were left without anything to use to fight these fires.
They have to be the most frustrated people in the city.
And when you're in these kinds of positions, it's really hard to speak out and become a whistleblower because it could put your entire livelihood at risk, including your pension. And if you've been putting your life on the line for 25, 30 years, is it really worth becoming a martyr for this? This is the same thing why it's so hard to get whistleblowers in the probation department about all the corruption that goes on in there. People are scared that they will be retaliated against.
You're a civil servant. The last thing you want is heat with the mayor.
Tell me that Karen Basura had changed the after action report because it was so damaging to her and the city. So I've known this, and I'm so thankful that the LA Times published it.
I think there's no Scrubs in the background.
Yeah, I was about to say, is he at a TLC concert?
Maybe Karen Bass is a scrub.
Because it was so damaging to her and the city. So I've known this, and I'm so thankful that the LA Times published it. And I look forward to the Department of Justice investigating Karen Bass for obstruction of justice. So I don't think she'll even be able to run for mayor because she could be facing criminal charges.
Oh, my.
By the way, how pathetic is that where everyone in town knows that she doctored up this report? And now we have to be thankful to the LA Times for being willing to print the truth that all of us already know.
Well, it becomes a story when you break ranks.
Which doesn't happen often.
Now, that's what Spencer Pratt had to say. But what's also making a whole lot of waves in the last few days of the filing period for this LA mayor's race, which the primary is in June, is that Rick Caruso, who just a few weeks ago said, after teasing you all year, I'm not going to run for anything, not for governor, not for mayor, is thinking that over again.
You don't say.
For more, here's Fox 11 and our buddy Matthew Seedorf.
Tonight, a political firestorm is brewing in Los Angeles. Allegations against Mayor Karen Bass over the handling of a critical fire report have sparked outrage. And now, as Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf reports, could Rick Caruso be rethinking his decision not to run for mayor?
Thank you so much.
Political fallout erupting across Los Angeles.
What happened to Seedorf?
Well, maybe the same person who got me sick got him sick, too.
This guy's working too hard.
Political fallout erupting across Los Angeles from an LA Times report claiming Mayor Karen Bass intervened in the Palisades fire after action report.
I want to send him some soup.
You know what I like? I like wonton soup. When I'm sick, it's like Chinese chicken noodle soup. Good for the soul.
For me, it's Vietnamese pho. That ginger garlic broth, it makes me feel better every time. In fact, it's the one thing I look forward to when I get sick.
Ordering key findings about LAFD's response to be removed or softened.
It makes me very concerned about the future of LA.
Rick Caruso 2 weeks ago announced he no longer wanted to run for California governor or mayor of LA. Point blank, are you reconsidering your decision?
I'm certainly thinking about it.
Well, he says governors.
We're getting teased for just another couple days.
Well, don't forget, he owns property in Pacific Palisades and was offended, not just politically, but personally, at how bad the city's response was to the fires. I'm sure he's all the way pissed off.
Well, he says governor is out of the question. He's rethinking about running for LA mayor. Was it this article today that really kind of made you reconsider?
Yeah. Because incompetence is one thing, but it's very different to mix incompetence and now you've got somebody who is actively lying to the people that she has sworn to serve.
And if he decides to run, great. If he decides not to run, if he's this pissed off, he needs to put his money where his mouth is.
That's right. And do whatever it takes to get Spencer Pratt in there.
The after-action report, long criticized by fire survivors as watered down, left unanswered.
Maybe some lemon tea? That'd be nice.
Oh, yeah.
Poor Seedorf. We had him on the show last week. He's awesome.
Left unanswered questions about what went wrong during the deadly Palisades fire.
That's behind us.
But residents...
No, it's not.
I love the fact that everyone whose home didn't burn down is just ready to move on.
That's behind us.
It's really not, but when you're the appointed fire chief and you know that if you break ranks on anything, Karen Bass will fire your ass. This is what
it's
happens.
funny. One of the things that we do on this program is we let the people speak in their own words. We play lots of sound, we play lots of clips, we play lots of news reports. So you don't have to rely on me telling you what these people say. You can hear them say it for themselves. And every so often, there are red flags that just pop up. There are certain things that you pick up on. Remember when we would play sound of Shang Tao talking about the deal selling the Oakland Coliseum? And on more than one or two or even three occasions, she said, now I just want to be clear, I'm not working for the group who's buying the Coliseum. I'm representing the city. And we said, there's no reason for her to say that unless there's some kind of deal that's already happened behind the scenes. And she's too stupid to know that what she's doing is showing her hand of cards to the rest of us.
I can get that.
Well, I experienced a similar situation when the new fire chief came on board. And the first thing he said was, we don't need to find out who watered down this report. It's not relevant information. It's not information that I'm interested in seeking out. The moment I heard that, I knew exactly what happened. Actually, I knew it before, but that cemented it. For anyone who was on the fence or didn't know who doctored up that report, what more information did you need after the person that Karen Bass just appointed publicly went out and said that as the first order of business?
That's behind us.
But residents kind of want those answers.
Well, I understand that, but they have to understand what are they going to do with those answers?
What an a-hole. You know what? Bass needs to go, and so does that guy. Because what he's doing is running cover for her. He knows what happened. If you're the fire chief and you're not interested in getting to the bottom of a fire, why are you here?
Just 2 days ago, we exclusively brought those questions to LA's fire chief.
Very disappointed that they would do that. That we need the truth.
Residents in the Palisades with empty, burned lots, angry by the news.
Karen Bass demanded changes to the after action report, and there's like 9 versions of it,
including mayoral candidate Spencer Pratt.
There's no looking forward until we get the answers, and the people that are responsible are fired. That includes the fire chiefs, the fire battalion chiefs, that includes the mayor.
I mean, at this point, everyone who touched that report cannot be trusted.
But again, this is business as usual in the city. You could say the exact same thing about the homeless count. Anyone who works in homeless services, all the way up to the mayor, needs to go because all of their statistics are lies. The same thing is true with retail theft and crime. The mayor is lying to you. People don't call 911 anymore because they know nothing's going to happen. And then she pats herself on the back and says, look, crime's down.
Mayor Karen Bass strongly denying the allegations, telling Fox 11, I reviewed an early draft only for accuracy.
And we believe that because we were born yesterday.
Neither I nor my staff changed the report. These claims are false.
Was there ever anything even in this report about Karen Bass's claims that the fire department never told her about the wind?
She is so out to lunch.
If she gets another 4 years, LA's done. That shows that the apathy to care about what's really going on in this city does not matter. Nobody cares.
Okay, but again, replacing her is not good enough. You need to replace her with someone better. We replaced Shang Tao in Oakland, but we replaced her with someone equally as bad, Barbara Lee. That doesn't help the city of Oakland any. If we were to replace Karen Bass with Lindsay Horvath, guess what? The city remains on the same trajectory.
Quite frankly.
These claims are false. Reporting in Pacific Palisades, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
There's Matthew Seedorf with Fox 11. Hopefully he can get a day off here or there.
All right, there's a lot going on. The LA Times finally acknowledged reality that the mayor doctored up the report, the after-action fire report. Maybe you want to weigh in on that at 800-222-5222. Rick Caruso says that he is considering running for mayor yet again. What do you make of a potential Rick Caruso candidacy for mayor of Los Angeles? 800-222-5222. And many, including yours truly and Randy, are calling on Mayor Karen Bass to step down as mayor of Los Angeles. She's a failure. She's a disgrace. She needs to go. What say you? 800-222-5222. 1-800-222-5222. All right, you know the news. The LA Times says the mayor doctored up the after-action fire report on the fire that burned down the Pacific Palisades. Rick Caruso is now considering jumping back in the race to run against Karen Bass. Spencer Pratt, who's already a challenger to Karen Bass, is calling on her to drop out of the race. He's also calling on the fire chief to step down as well for going along with Karen Bass and everything that she wanted him to do. Now it's your opportunity to weigh in at 800-222-5222, 1-800-222-5222. Let's begin with Morris in Los Angeles. Morris, hello.
Morris.
Are you there, Morris? Going once, going twice. No Morris. And I'll tell you, Randy, one of the things that I'm going to be looking at here and looking at very closely is what does the Democratic Party do? Because in Los Angeles, it's a one-party city. Republicans have not had a mayor in L.A. since Dick Reardon, and that was after the L.A. riots. After Tom Bradley was there for, 5 terms, and the city burnt to the ground, and Dick Reardon ran for mayor on the platform of Dick Reardon, tough enough to turn L.A. around. And Reardon was elected and then reelected. He was an extremely popular mayor of Los Angeles. But since Dick Reardon went away, it's been one Democrat after another. We had Villaraigosa after Jim Hahn. Then we had Eric Garcetti. And now we have Mother Goose. And even though they're different in terms of their races, their gender, those sorts of things, their ideology is essentially the same. Because when you're the mayor, you are not really personally in charge of the city in the sense that people think of. You are a figurehead of a coalition. There is a coalition that put you there, and you were the figurehead of that particular coalition. When Mayor Bradley was elected, it was the Bradley coalition. And to a certain extent, the Democrats who have been elected since him have used some variation of that coalition to get elected. That coalition includes West Side liberals, Jews, blacks, Latinos, Asians, gays and lesbians, and that is enough to produce a supermajority in Los Angeles. And then you win the mayor's race without the Republicans really having a fighting chance. And because Karen Bass is the figurehead of the coalition, I don't think it's going to be easy for the party to turn on her. Because if the party were to turn on her, they're not going to say that Bass failed. They're not acknowledging that. They're saying the coalition failed. And it's very tough for people to admit that they're wrong. It's very tough for people to acknowledge that what they're doing isn't working. And if you turn on Karen Bass, that is in effect what you're admitting to. And I think that's going to be a very tough pill for the Democratic Party to swallow. You may have individual Democrats who break away and don't support her or run against her, but I don't think the party itself will. Let's go to Dave in Calabasas. Dave, hello.
Boy, I don't see how Karen Bass isn't going to be forced to resign. It's a life and death report about fire, and she purposely caused fraud and then lied about the fraud. How does she endure this? This is what dictators do, like Putin or Mao Zedong, where it's, you hear what I'm going to tell you and you can't dispute it. This is the highest form of whatever could be local treason, and she's got to go, John. Put me on hold so I can hear what you think.
Well, in any sane world, she would not only drop out of the race, but she would leave town in disgrace. But I don't think that's going to happen because in Los Angeles, again, the coalition that put her into power is the same coalition that runs the newspapers, public radio, so many of the institutions that make the city run. And ideologically, they're on the same page as her, which is part of the reason why this report is so shocking in that it came out in the LA Times. They're not supposed to break bad. They are not supposed to do that. So I bet you, as angry as she is, she's just as shocked. Let's go to Vera in Lawndale. Vera, hello.
Hi, Caruso. He didn't want to buck the same system that he bucked before the Democratic Party with what's her name? Care Bear and this.
Can you turn your radio down? I'm hearing myself in the background.
Yeah, the Democratic Party. So this new guy, he majored in political science, but he's just a soap opera guy. He don't know how to run nothing, just like that Modami in New York. At least Caruso got a background and has put his money where his mouth is, buying houses, modules for the people that were burned out. He's turned over keys to them. He knows how to do something. But I think the reason why he did it backed out because the Democratic Party whipped him before. Why go up against it again? He had no win. But now the people are going to get rid of her. Okay? It's out of the Democratic Party's hands, I think. If you just keep the issues before the public, they'll vote her butt out.
Could be.
All right. Thanks for the call. The Fix California Hour is next. Don't you go anywhere.